A man named Daniel lived in a small, quiet town where life moved slowly and people valued hard work over words. He worked long hours as a mechanic, fixing other people's problems while quietly carrying his own. He was not rich, not powerful, and not widely known. But he understood something many overlooked. Success is built long before it is seen. When his son Ethan was born, Daniel stood beside the hospital window and made a silent promise. My son will be stronger than me. Not because life is easier for him, but because he will be ready for it. From the very beginning, Daniel chose a different path of fatherhood. He loved deeply, but he did not protect his son from every difficulty. When Ethan tried to walk and fell, Daniel watched closely, stepping in only when necessary. When the boy struggled to tie his shoes, Daniel sat beside him patiently, showing him once, then letting him try again and again. Figure it out, he would say calmly. I'm here, but you must do it. As Ethan grew older, the challenges became bigger. School was not always easy for him. He was not the smartest in his class, and sometimes he felt invisible among others. One day, frustrated after failing an exam, he threw his notebook on the floor and said, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." Daniel picked up the notebook, placed it back on the table, and sat across from him. "Good enough is not something you are," he said quietly. "It's something you become. And it only comes after you decide not to quit." Instead of punishment, Daniel gave responsibility. Instead of comfort, he gave perspective. He never allowed excuses to take root, but he never denied his son's support either. It was a careful balance, firm but never cold. Every evening, no matter how tired he was, Daniel found time to talk. Not lectures, but conversations. He told Ethan about the mistakes he had made when he was younger, the times he chose the easy way and paid for it later. He spoke about regret, about discipline, about the cost of giving up too early. "I don't want you to avoid failure," Daniel once said. "I want you to understand it." When Ethan became a teenager, their relationship was tested. There were arguments, slammed doors, and long silences. Ethan wanted freedom. Daniel demanded responsibility. At times, the boy thought his father was too strict, too demanding, too unyielding. But Daniel never changed his core principles. "If you want more freedom," he would say, "show me you can handle more responsibility." Slowly, something began to shift. Ethan started to take ownership of his choices. He studied harder, not because he was forced to, but because he began to understand why it mattered. He worked part-time jobs, learned to manage money, and discovered the value of effort. Years passed, and Ethan left for the city. Life there was faster, harsher, and far less forgiving. There were moments when he failed, business ideas that didn't work, opportunities that slipped away, people who doubted him. But each time, he heard his father's voice in his mind. "Don't quit. Learn." Instead of breaking, he adapted. Instead of blaming others, he adjusted himself. Slowly, he began to succeed. A small opportunity turned into a bigger one. A risk turned into growth. His name started to carry weight. His work gained recognition, and his confidence became unshakable. But what truly set Ethan apart was not just his success, it was his character. He was reliable, disciplined, and calm under pressure. People trusted him, not because he never failed, but because he never ran from responsibility. One day, years later, Ethan stood on a stage at a large conference, speaking in front of hundreds of people. He was introduced as a highly successful entrepreneur, a leader, a man others admired. During the questions, someone asked, "What made you who you are today?" Ethan paused. He looked out at the audience, then smiled slightly. "I had a father who didn't try to make my life comfortable," he said. "He made it meaningful. He didn't solve my problems. He taught me how to face them. He didn't protect me from failure. He prepared me for it." At the back of the room sat Daniel, older now, his hands still rough from years of work. He listened quietly, saying nothing. Ethan continued, "Everything I've built stands on the lessons he gave me. Not easy lessons, real ones." There was applause, but Daniel didn't join immediately. He simply lowered his head for a moment, then nodded to himself. Because long before the world saw a successful man, he had seen a boy learning how to stand.